Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Old Town Day 2017, and I'm sitting here with Colleen Richardson, who's our assistant station manager. I'm Bill Jennings, the station manager, and we're sitting here with, for some people, maybe a familiar face. For those that aren't familiar with who I'm with, this is Rick Sawyer, who's the town manager for the town of Bedford. Rick, welcome. Welcome to Old Town Days. Welcome to the BCTV WBNH booth. We got a lot of things planned, and thanks for joining us.
Oh, what a fabulous day, too, to be here. We couldn't have better weather. The crowds are starting to pour in after the soccer games are ending up, and the most booths we ever had, according to Jane, who does an incredible job pulling this together for the town every year. Jane O'Brien in the Recreation Department. So. Before we get too far in, I definitely want to thank the BCTV and WBNH team for all you do all year round. Absolutely, it's been fantastic kickoff to the radio station about a year and a half ago now.
That's correct.
So, with all the sports games, not just football, those might get the most play in airtime, but all the playoff games every year, I look forward to them, and I know everybody in town does too. So, again, thank you all for the work you do all year round.
Thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, we're just starting to grow and expand into all new areas of being able to broadcast anywhere, anytime. And for those that are wondering how we're doing this, it's one simple little box, which we're not going to show you right now. But when you can simplify the broadcast procedure, it makes it easy to give you what you want to see from any location. And like last week, we were down at Winnicott covering the Bedford High School Bulldogs down in Hampton, and we couldn't have done that. And I know Colleen, who has put this whole production together, has a lot of things planned that are going to bring a lot of people to you that you might not have seen if they had to come into the BCTV studios. Who do we have coming up?
Well, we just have a lot of the nonprofit organizations here. We've asked them to come join us and just tell everyone a little bit about their organization.
And that's what really today's all about.
That's what it's about, exactly.
You know, just the amount. I'm sure Chris will pan to the background here at some point, but the number of booths behind us is incredible. So if you've never been to Old Town Day in the past and you don't end up making it down this year, there's still plenty of time to come down if you're watching it from home. But come down next year, absolutely. It's a way to learn about the community, all the nonprofits in town, the men's clubs, the Rotaries, you know, the Republicans, the Democrats, the libraries here, the garden club, just an incredible number of people that turn out. And a lot of the sports teams and all that all have great things for the kids going on today. So it's just a wonderful time. You might hear in the background as well, the new this year is a hot air balloon. So you hear that noise every now and again, and that's great that they're doing that. I think it looks like that's one of the longest lines we have so far today. Is to take a ride.
It looks like a lot of fun, but we won't put Chris up there in the in the box because I know he's disappointed. And again, I'd like to introduce the guy behind the camera that you don't see right now. That's Chris Gentry. He's relatively new to our operation, came on board in April, and boy, Rick, he's already hit the ground running.
Oh, no, it's been incredible. Such a welcome part to the team, and I think what it's really allowed you to do, and what I've seen from putting the manager hat on, is really take that next step into the multimedia, social media, all kinds of aspects, your YouTube channels that I'm sure you promote throughout the day today. Yep. But really those PSAs that you get out as a team now, from all aspects of all aspects of town government. You work hard with every department to get the word out on things. So certainly tune into 105.1 when you get a chance. But I know by adding Chris to the team, the great team that you had already, it's really just allowed you guys to really blossom, and it's incredible to see.
Yeah, it's been great, and I would actually say that WBNH 105 FM, our program, Harry Kozlowski, can't be here today. He's up in Buffalo. Yes, we have somebody working for us that is a Buffalo Bills season ticket holder. He's also a season ticket holder for the Sabres. Harry's quite the hockey guy too, but when the Pats aren't playing the Bills, he's supporting. Well, I can't say he's doing that, but we're not simulcasting. We did have a little bit of a challenge. If we kind of did this on radio, you might miss some of the visuals that we're actually describing. So what we've been doing, and hopefully you've heard it, they're being promoted, the PSAs for Old Town Day down here. Still plenty of time left, Rick. You said it. You nailed it. It is a beautiful, gorgeous day.
So let me cut in.
Yeah, thanks.
Bill, and just give people a little of the details about Old Town Day, because I'm not sure everyone knows. It runs from 10 to 3 today. Not only are there the nonprofits here, but the town has a lot of departments here and vehicles vehicles, we have fire engines, we have the sweeper truck here. You can take a look inside of that and see what cleans the roads in town, as well as some of the dump trucks, and police are here, a library. Everybody is here so that you guys can come meet us and just check out all the great things that we have in this town.
Our newest piece of equipment just arrived yesterday is here. It's our brand new tractor for the recreation and field maintenance work. So it's a great thing. The kids are able to climb on all this equipment that's here. The grader that's here is always a hit. Just seeing a sweeper up close and how that all works, I know the kids always love that. You mentioned some of the town teams that are here, and it's great that everybody pitches in to make this a really great event. There's ways to give back if you're interested. The CERT is here, is a community group that helps through the police and fire departments on emergency scenes, or just you see them at voting day helping direct traffic and that kind of stuff. So they're here today helping out in a few spots. So if you're interested in being part of town, not just government, but all the vendors are here and the nonprofits are here. This is a way you can easily find out what's going on in your community and how you can be part of it, or just come down and enjoy everything that's going on.
Absolutely. And that's what we hope to do, is highlight some of the nonprofits so that people can say, oh, I didn't realize we had that group in town, and how do I get involved? And so we'll be interviewing some of them a little bit later.
Yeah, not only the organization, I think getting back to what you said, it's just fun. There's just a lot of energy down here, and you just get to meet an awful lot of people, and I know a lot of people that do come down here, kind of come in kind of quietly. The next thing, but when they're leaving, they've met a lot of new friends. They've bought a few things, or just to enjoy the entertainment that was going on.
Absolutely, it's Old Town Day, but it's Old Home Day. It's reunion day for a lot of people. There's people that I only see once a year because they come here every year, and they always make a point to come up and say hi and ask about things going on, in government. And I enjoy it so much. It's a great way to be able to talk with people in a relaxed atmosphere outside of town office building. The formality of having a tie on and all that stuff may scare some people, but being here, there's no problem just walking up and shaking your hand, and that's great. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that,
and
excuse
one more
me.
thing we didn't say, but this is free. There is no admission
Right.
to come to this event. You can come, just wander on in, just take in as little or as much of it as you'd like. But we're here all day, and it's free entertainment for the family. And a lot of the booths have little games for the kids, beanbag tosses and things like that, all free. So great
Absolutely.
way to spend the day.
And some years we've had better turnouts for food and stuff, but this year is a great turnout with food. We have several people. If you're interested in needing to have something to eat for lunch, it's here with hamburgers, hot dogs, those kinds of things. I saw pizza was here as well,
Ice cream,
there's ice cream
all
coming.
kinds of things here.
Would like to add that is the part that is not free, but what you get
Pretty
for
reasonable.
what they charge is more than you'd ever get if you actually walked into the restaurant. So, but the food is delicious, and we can't thank the vendors enough for being part of the program as well.
Yeah, and one of the food vendors is the Friends of the Bedford Cemetery. Hamburgers, $3, I think I saw on their list. And that's the type of organization we have in town here that just helps us do the community services a little bit better than we could do on our own at times. They pitch in, and I think that's a lot of what you see all day long here is community groups here that are looking for volunteers and ways to give back to the community. So I encourage everyone to come on down.
Absolutely. So I kind of threw it over to you just because I know I have this tendency to talk maybe just a little too much, so I'm going to take my cue from Colleen. If not, I can take us in another direction right now.
Well, I can tell you some of the events that we have
That's
scheduled
perfect.
for the day. At noontime is the Lions Club Kids Are Run in Riley Field. So you can still come on and down, I think. You might be cutting it close to register your kids. I know they were trying to get them registered early, but that's going to happen. Just fun to watch all the kids running. At 1:30, we're going to have the live frog jumping contest. So that should be interesting.
You have to bring your own frog. That's the thing I
They
heard.
have to catch their own frog.
Yeah,
That's how
yeah,
that works.
well, no. What I understand is you need to bring your frog. You can't get into the frog contest without
Unless
a
you have
frog.
a frog.
I
That
learned
makes
that this
sense.
morning by actually reading
That
the
makes
paper.
sense. And then the one thing that's really fun, and you could win some money with this one, is the bullfrog bounce. Now that's how we end the day. And what happens is there's Now, they're not live frogs, so don't worry. They're little rubber frogs. They all have numbers on them. You purchase tickets that coincide with those frogs, and what happens is the fire department brings those all the way up to the top of the ladder truck, which again is another vehicle here you can check out, and it gets dropped. They go to a big bullseye down in the field. Whichever one gets closest to the middle, you win the prize. So what a great way to win a little money and support the Old Town Day event at the same time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Those are some of the highlights.
That's great. Going to get back to what Rick happened to mention at the beginning about expanding our capabilities to bring you coverage on everything that's going on inside Bedford, sports-wise, event-wise, and also some of the official things that go on. And as Rick said, we continue to expand our operation here, and I would like to add, over the years I've always said that we can only do what we do because we have the support of our town government, our staff, the town manager, because it's important that you be able to get a hold of information, get it quickly in any and every venue. And as Rick mentioned, we did have a YouTube page that we just launched in addition to what we do on our regular channels, Facebook. And you may want to talk a little bit about the town, the Facebook pages that we have for the different departments in town.
And other department YouTube pages.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing that's really started to blossom. I think, again, with the addition of a little bit more staff in a department like yours, being able to really take the media side of it and run with it. Our society's become a group of 144 characters, or a minute or two, or maybe a 3-minute video, and we need to move on to the next one, and we're adapting to that reality, and you guys have done that great. So the town has a Facebook page, BCTV has a Facebook page, the police and fire each have one, recreation has one, library has one. I think I got them all there.
Yeah, you did.
So I encourage you to like them all.
And radio, did we say radio?
Radio, thank you,
WBNH.
WBNH.
Yeah, so
Absolutely. And sometimes, or often, you might see cross, sharing of the information, but it's really because we're just trying to get information out to everybody the best ways that we can. And some people may have only liked the police department page for whatever reason. So if you see the police department share something the town posted, or BCTV, vice versa, it's because we're really just trying to get the word out to everybody. The one piece that we haven't mentioned is Nixle, which is another way that we get the word out, mostly through our public safety group. But sometimes community announcements are on there. But it's really, if you haven't signed up for Nixle, go to the police department page, and I'm sure there's a link right there to get you signed up on Nixle. And that's where you get your updates texted to your phone if you want, or through email if you want. But that's really the timely information for like accidents on 101 or Everett Turnpike, those kinds of things that really will impact your day if you're about to head out, or you need to get to school, whatever. That Nixle alert will be the best way to get.
And that's NIXLE, www.nixle. You can sign up, pick which communities you want to belong to. You don't have to belong to just Bedford. You can belong to the surrounding communities as well, and get notifications from them as well, like Merrimack and Manchester and some of the other ones.
Right,
But
absolutely.
we'd love for you to join Bedford, and then you can get all of our information.
And so as social media is changing, we've now grown into the YouTube channels, and I think best probably to turn it back to you and explain how people can sign up for that and why they should sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, when you talk about expanding capability, it does get down to staff, and Chris's expertise was in that social media YouTube environment. In the old days, we were always trying to concentrate, because we didn't have the technology, to have everybody come and draw towards our channels. We're done doing that now. I mean, we still can obviously watch on 16, 22, or 23, and that's probably the most convenient way for it if you're sitting in your living room. But a lot of people are on the go. And a lot of people, we offer obviously through BCTV video on demand. But what we found with YouTube, and Chris brought in his expertise, is you set up another alternate way of distributing information. And YouTube is probably what more and more people outside of the community, in terms of accessing Bedford information, might go to, as opposed to going through the BCTV or WBNH websites, etc. So we started putting different programming up on our channel. Police has their channel. Chris helped set them up over there, as well as the fire department, and they start sharing and we start sharing. And then the nice thing about YouTube is that if I'm sharing something like, say, Jay, I want to know what's going on and the town of Exeter, and I take a look, you might see, oh, there's Bedford. Let me switch over to Bedford. So it gives you a selection to get a little bit deeper in finding stuff that you might not necessarily find just by coming into our location.
Colleen, can you tell us the names of those YouTube channels and how they would get there?
So you have to search them right now, and that's what we really need is for people to subscribe to our channels, because right now we don't have 50 subscribers. Once we get 50 subscribers, our names will be unique to us. So they'll be the Bedford Community TV YouTube page and fire and police. They're not that now. They're a long link. But if you search for them, you can find them, subscribe to them, you'll get notifications, and then once we get the 50 subscribers on all the channels, you'll be able to find us a lot easier. But because they're so new, we're just getting that base started. So you gotta just search them. We have shared them on Facebook. We've shared all of the links on the town's Facebook page. If you go back in our feed, and we'll do it again, so that way we can get the word out there to help you. If you can't find it, call us. Our number at the station is 472-8288. We'll walk you through it. We want to get you to subscribe and be informed and stay in touch with us.
She touched on something that has helped us to even expand all aspects of our departments, as well as the sports program in town, and that is Facebook. So as I've learned from Chris, as we go deeper, and he has the Google Analytics, and we all start talking about that, and which is fantastic, because data that we can give you helps all the departments say, what do we need to do to get even more people attracted to that environment? Facebook is really the portal that gets us into YouTube and gets us everywhere.
I think it's really why we just spent the last 10 minutes talking about all these other media outlets, is because we do look at that information and we do realize that people are changing their ways. It's not like the old days where you just showed up at every town meeting once a year and you raised your hand. Now you might check in occasionally. You might watch on 22 or 16, or you might just call up Facebook, and that's the way you check in with your government. And I think we're just reacting very well to what people are looking for, different ways to get the information out, and we're changing with the times. But you mentioned a phone number again. I chuckled a little bit when you said it, because in my head I was just thinking, we have all these ways that we're reaching out, but we're still there in the office. If you want to come in and shake our hand or come in and sit down, please do so. Town emails all work the same. It's first initial, last name. So for me, it's rsawyer@bedfordnh.org. So everybody's the same way. It's at bedfordnh.org. In the beginning part's the first initial, last name. So if you want to talk to the fire chief or email the fire chief, it's swiggin@bedfordnh.org and so forth. And feel free to call. My direct line is 792-1300. So 792-1300. Everybody's still willing to pick up the phone and talk to you as well. So yes, we have all these other outlets that we're trying to get information out, but feel free to use the old technology too.
And the website is bedfordnh.org. So you can get to every single department, find all of the contact numbers at the website of bedfordnh.org, which you might have got when Rick was saying the email address, but just in case, it's www.bedfordnh.org. So you'll find everybody through that.
So I'm going to do a little bragging as we talk about BCTV and WBNH, and I'm going to throw a challenge out, and we're actually going to invite you to be part of our content developers, our content providers. In other words, to be a host or get behind a camera or get behind the radio mic. And right now, if you're listening to WBNH and those football games and you're watching it on BCTV, aside from Chris and I, when we're out there, when Colleen's there, those guys that you hear on the mic and over the airways, they're all volunteers, and we have a great group of volunteers that help us out.
And I know you start to mentor even high school students to try and come in. I know it seems like over the years, I've been in town over 10 years now, and I've met so many of the high school kids who have come in being videographers and gotten their start in media, really, just through BCTV and your interactions with the schools.
And it's actually expanding for anybody that is watching the high school, involved in the high school program or involved in high school sports. The high school is going to be starting, they're taking two clubs, Rick, that they had, which was the BHS Bulldog Studios, that was started last year by a group of students, and two of those students that had the high energy have moved on. Heath Arnott is taken over as the advisor. He's the humanities and English teacher. He's going to take the Bulldogs Unleashed radio club and combine them to create a media club, and I know that he's looking for students to participate, and that's something that everybody should jump into. So I mean, we all love being part of the media. This gives you a free opportunity to participate, grow your skills, become a star in front, or just learn the technology and what it takes to actually put on a production.
And my reason for bringing it up in the good transition of what you're doing with the high school is that you don't have to be an adult to volunteer with BCTV. You can, or the radio station. You can be students. The radio station, there's some certain parameters you have to agree to, but you can have your own radio show if you work through with Harry and your team to produce a full-time radio show. It's a big commitment, but you don't have to be an adult. As I said, if you have an interest in media, either video or radio, you want to be behind the camera, you want to be in front of the camera. I think we'd take anybody who wants to come down and volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely. And Colin, you may want to talk about the other people that work for us.
The other people.
Yeah, our government.
We have our part-time.
That's right.
All of those government meetings are covered by part-time.
School board as well.
School board and town government meetings. So
some of which are students.
Interested in part-time jobs, we have those available. So it's not just us full-time staff. We do have part-timers, and we couldn't do it without them because those meetings, some of them go a little while late at night, and Bill and I would be falling asleep if we had to stay there all that time.
Yeah.
But speaking of government and meetings, that's the other area in town that people can volunteer. I know that the boards and commissions are always looking for volunteers, right, Rick?
Absolutely. We have an opening on the planning board right now, I believe also on Conservation Commission. So we usually put out the word after the first of the year. We always do have a lot of people whose terms are retiring out, and so we're looking for new appointments, starting at the end of January for appointments in March. But we almost always have a vacancy somewhere, and like I say, right now we have an opening definitely on the planning board. People move away and so forth during the year and have to step away. So if you have any interest, there's always a link on the town website that has what's available for openings.
All right.
So Rick, we are getting ready to have our guests come on.
We're winging it a little bit, but bear with us as we bring in.
Community television. So I'll take off for the day here a little bit.
Thank you, Rick.
And congratulate you again on doing this and for all your work all year round.
Well, thanks for the support, and thanks for being our first guest.
Have a great day, everyone.
All right, great.
Lots of people come in here.
All right, right now we're going to bring in two young ladies that I'm going to actually ask Emily Tolson, who is part of the program that for Miss Bedford, which is a scholarship program, to also come in and join us.
I would have done my hair and makeup if I had known that I was going on air here.
Well, basically we're kind of informal right now, as you can tell, and I'm actually going to I just asked you a couple of questions, then you can introduce the ladies. So tell us a little bit about the Miss Bedford Scholarship Program, and I know there's a lot of town scholarship programs for young ladies for pageantry. Oh, looks like we got a guest.
Yes, we have visitors. So the Miss Bedford Scholarship Program is a preliminary to Miss New Hampshire, and Miss New Hampshire is a preliminary to Miss America. So here in New Hampshire, we have over 25 local competitions, and I'm the co-director to one with Melissa Stevens, which is Miss Bedford and Miss Bedford's Outstanding Teen. So today, Miss Bedford Elizabeth Henry is here, and she'll be competing for Miss New Hampshire in April. And then we have Kristen Bornkessel, who is our Miss Bedford's Outstanding Teen, and she will be competing for Miss New Hampshire's Outstanding Teen in February.
I think the important thing to note is that not only the poise and the experience that you both get, and by the way, congratulations,
Thank you so much.
is the scholarship, and there's a lot of commitment, and there's a lot of commitment. That's and I just saw that look. So tell me a little bit about what you had to do to prepare, and Emily and Melissa in this helping you, introducing you to the program, and then taking you to hopefully greater places.
Yeah. So this is actually my 4th year in the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program. I started as a teen. I did teen for 2 years, and this is my 2nd year as a Miss. One of the biggest transitions for me was starting to really keep up with current events. That is so important because it is so important to be intelligent in your interview and on your onstage question. So current events is huge, just keeping up with your platform. I have a platform of Stop Bullying, Be More Than a Bystander. I think it is such an important cause. I think it is so important for kids to know how to safely use social media and how to prevent cyberbullying and stand up for other kids, because that is really, really a big issue right now with all of our social media available to us. I actually just won these directors last weekend, and so I am looking forward to working with them to prepare for Miss New Hampshire in April.
That's really the grand prize.
That is the fun part. And then we will do many service opportunities, and just I'm so excited to meet so many people and work with people and maybe have more doors open. I'm a freshman at UNH, and so I have a lot in the future to come. So
Great.
yeah.
I'm not going to embarrass this young lady here because I know she's pretty proud of it, but guess who was a former Miss New Hampshire?
Yes,
That's-
she knows. Yeah, so that was back in 2006, and I had competed for 5 years before I won Miss New Hampshire. So I ended up winning over $65,000 in scholarships, which was incredible. I went to the University of New Hampshire, debt-free, and that's so important when you come out of college education, not having any loans. It's such an incredible feeling.
Right.
So that's why when we moved back to Bedford, we decided that my husband and I would get involved in local organizations, and of course Miss Bedford was one, so that we could help other young women get more scholarships and go to school and take the edge off of those college debts and those loans.
That's great. I don't want to leave you out over there, young lady. So tell me about your experience.
Well, I just started last year and I'm 14 years old, and I honestly think it's a great program because I've met so many new people. I knew Elizabeth from her sister because I am friends with her sister and she does the program with me. So it's just been a great experience. You learn so many new things, like I'm doing interview and talent portion, fitness portion, and it's just such a great learning experience, and just winning the crown and the sash is just great because it's an awesome commitment, and coming here and meeting new people is just amazing. So
That's fantastic. We're running tight. We got a tight schedule, so I can't thank you, Emily, for bringing these wonderful young ladies. And I can honestly tell you, as soon as you guys open your mouth, I'm going like, whoa.
Yes.
The maturity, the poise.
Yes.
Your message is excellent. UNH is a great. I was a UMass Amherst guy, but my son did graduate. But my son graduated. But my son graduated from UNH, so I wear the blue, sometimes the red.
Yes.
You guys got a great future ahead. Congratulations. I think your program's great.
Thank you.
And you had a wonderful choreographer, from what I understand. I kind of know him a little bit too.
Yeah, he's
so,
okay.
All right.
He's okay.
Thank you, Emily Tolson. Thank you, ladies. And all right, you're entirely welcome. All right, take care. Thanks for coming over. I'm going to turn it over to Colleen right now, who's going to be interviewing our next guest. And I know
we have some ladies from the Foursquare Church that are going to join
Alrighty,
us.
I'm going to take a step up so they can come right in here and kind of notice as we try to get used to the company that's here. Okay, we just have two.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ladies, thank you for waiting for the Miss Bedfords. We got them in. They have a schedule, and we just wanted to introduce them to the community. I'm going to turn this over to Colleen, who's going to just kind of take you through the interview process.
Okay. So,
sorry.
anyways, if you guys can introduce yourselves and
could I
tell
hold it
us
up?
where you're from.
I'm Tanya Tupik. I'm part of Trinity Life Community, which is a Foursquare Gospel Church, and we've obtained the nickname the Water Church over the past few years because at Bedford Old Town Days we've been giving out free water since 2015.
Hi, and I'm Linda Brady. I am the pastor of Christian education at Trinity Life Community, but I also oversee our Early Learning Center, which is called Trinity Early Learning Center, and we are just opened in January, and we are open for receiving children from ages 6 weeks to 5 years old.
So tell us, how do people get involved with the organizations? Is there websites, contact information that you can share?
Yeah, we're located at 12 Station Road in Bedford, New Hampshire, and our website is www.tlcnh.org. So you can go on the website, there'll be a link to an email and our phone number, and you can contact us through that, or come on a Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and enjoy a service with us.
And is the school the same contact info, or do you have?
No, the school we have our own number. It's 603-622-6336, and we'd be glad to have you come in and walk through our facility. We have a walkthrough time anywhere from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and we're glad to have people come through. We also have our own email, but we are linked into the church website. So if you go onto the church website, you just click in to Early Learning Center, and you can see our information there.
That's great.
Awesome.
That's absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Do you have anything else you'd like to add? It seems like you covered it pretty well.
I think we're good. We
Good.
appreciate your time and you being here.
All right, Taylor,
Thank
we
you
should
for
get
giving
some.
all that water away, because
Yeah.
today everybody really needs it. It's a
It's a
nice
hot
warm
day.
day, and the water's great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here. And now we have the Boy Scouts.
This is excellent. I guess we're waiting. I can't emphasize enough how beautiful it is down here, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely phenomenal. You can come on down just to get out into the sun and grab some great food. So we're waiting for the Boy Scouts.
Come on,
Come on in.
We'll start.
Sure. Just come on right in here.
Okay,
Whoa.
Whoa,
That's
sorry
okay.
about that.
there we go.
That's
That's all right. So, your name, please.
I am Charlie Abbott. I am the Cubmaster of Pack 511. We're sponsored by St. Elizabeth Seton on Meeting House Road in Bedford. We're the third pack in Bedford. We're the newest and smallest and looking to grow.
I'm going to have you hold this mic. So
Sure.
I'm going to tell you something that you don't know. It's our cameraman, Chris Cameron. Try that again. Chris Gentry. How's that for
That was a slip.
that was a slip. There is a Chris Cameron. Chris Gentry is an Eagle Scout, former Eagle Scout. I guess once you're an Eagle Scout, you're not.
Once an eagle,
Yes,
always an eagle.
Yeah.
Yes, I am too.
Yeah. Tell us about the Boy Scout program. We've done some stuff in the past. You know, you're part of a state organization, correct?
It's national.
Yeah, a national, I should say.
National, and then there's the councils in the state, Daniel Webster councils for New Hampshire, and then there's smaller districts where Massabesic, which is Manchester and surrounding towns.
Yeah. How big is your troop?
We have about 20 boys right now,
Yeah.
ranging from kindergarten to 5th grade.
Well, that's good size. Are you finding, how long you been in it first?
In this pack, I've only been in for a year. I mean, I grew up with Scouts and then off for a while, raised a family, and now my son is 2nd grade, so we're back in again.
So the question I have for you, with all the different diversions that young people have nowadays, do you find it hard recruiting, or is it, has it dropped off? I would imagine
There's
that
a lot
it
of competition.
Sure.
I mean, the sports are great too. And we try to be accommodating. If you have soccer or football, whatever, in the fall, then you can just kind of not be around as much. And then when winter kicks in, come on in.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the steps? I mentioned that Chris says is a Eagle.
Yeah.
I guess from the age group, to
Well,
become a boy.
Starts in kindergarten.
Yeah.
That would be the Lions. And then 1st grade would be the Tigers. 2nd grade, the Wolves. 3rd grade, the Bears. 4th grade, Webelos, and Webelos actually goes for 2 years now. The 5th grade is Webelos 2, also called Arrow of Light, and partway during the year you're shopping around for a Boy Scout troop to cross over into. So somewhere December, January, you might start crossing into the Boy Scouts, and then from 5th grade on through till you're 18, you're in the Boy Scouts, where you start with your tenderfoot and work your way up to Eagle.
Well, I know that when people are out looking for work as they become young adults, and I used to work for companies, if I saw that Eagle Scout on there, you knew there was a young man that had a lot of commitment, a lot of drive, and a lot of motivation. And that's even to say for anybody that's in the Boy Scout,
Yeah.
but getting that Eagle level is quite inspiring.
It is a commitment, and your project is major, and you're supposed to do the planning and execution as much yourself as mobilizing other people. But the Scout does the planning, not the parents.
Sure. So how do people find out about you and get involved with the local Boy Scout troop here?
Well, we just had a recruitment drive. In fact, Thursday was sign-up night at all the local elementary schools. But anyone can join at any time during the year. We have a Facebook page, Pack 511
Excellent.
Bedford, and
Pack 511.
yep.
Okay.
And there's
Bedford.
2 other packs in town. There's 114 and 5, and I'm sure they all have Facebook pages as well.
How come you're not under just one group? It's just because you're more decentralized, the more you can spend time with the
scheduling, I
Yeah.
think they probably meet different nights of the week.
Okay. But there's no competition.
Well,
There is competition.
there is a friendly competition,
Okay.
I like to think.
All right, that's all good.
There's a lot of kids involved, so there's room for more.
So you like, hey, if you're kind of my troop, we do this. The 5 doesn't do that. I'm only kidding. But you do. But they do.
At the district and council events, we
Yeah.
compete against each other.
Oh, that's
so.
the way it should be. Competition, you know. That's excellent. Well, thank you very much.
All right,
I mean,
very welcome.
we really appreciate you coming by. And again, this is going out live. This is the first time we've had the capability with the equipment to broadcast from any location. So you're one of our first guests that is actually christening
All
us
right.
down here at the Old Town
thank you.
Day. So, all right.
We have a booth over on the other corner. We have a Nerf shooting challenge where we have the Nerf guns and different targets to knock over. So come on down and give it a try.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because, as Colleen mentioned earlier, there's a lot of events down here that have just that.
Almost every booth has fun little games for the kids to do.
Yeah.
So Nerf shooting, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Sounds like our camera guy back there. Actually, our production manager back there is
He might be
Might be
making
over
his
there.
way over there later.
Welcome to come over.
All right, thank you very
All
much.
right, thank
All
you.
right, take care. All righty.
So, oh, I lost my sheet.
Yeah, we have
Got
different things
that.
here.
The wind's blowing.
This is our new set that Colleen, who is so sharp in getting the right type of equipment for the right kind of environment. So I'm telling you, I'm really
Studio
enjoying this right now. This is
There's a nice breeze, which is helping out.
Yeah.
It was a little warm
yeah,
earlier. but
absolutely, absolutely.
It's a beautiful, beautiful day.
Right.
We did have someone else that was waiting, but I think they might have slipped away. So we'll have
Okay.
to just.
All right.
We're supposed to hear from the Rotary, the Women's Club, the Men's
Well,
Club.
maybe we could use one of our many. Dick, could you swing that camera over to Dick right now, who happens to be live on TV? Did we lose the rest of our volunteers that we were going to use a runner to go around and get some of our people that had signed up?
Yeah, Jen had to leave at noon time.
Okay, that's right. She's got a
has
commitment. So
She has a marathon that she's involved in tomorrow
Okay.
over in Keene, so
But
she's going to be one.
Let's introduce Dick Rawlings in case you haven't seen him
yeah, you can hold
before.
this, Dick.
Dick is the chairman of the BCTV board.
A long time chairman.
Long-time chairman, and he is. Why don't you tell people a little bit about being a board member and what you've experienced and why people should get involved with BCTV and WBNH? We have boards for both organizations.
Yes, well, it really is very interesting, the coverage that BCTV does for the local Bedford community, whether it's a council meeting, a school board meeting, a basketball game, a football game. There's tremendous coverage. And when we finally were able to get the low-power FM radio in, now we have the great confidence that should any disaster occur, that our community will have access to information that they could not get anyplace else. So if you don't have a battery-powered radio out there at your home, be sure you get one. Because if we do have a disaster, and as we know right now, what North Korea is talking about,
Yeah, that's a really good point, Dick.
God forbid we
mention
should ever we should ever have a problem like that. But rest assured that should we lose power, that our radio station 105.1 FM, you can tune in and you'll get information that's going to keep you up to date. So you got to have the radio at home, indeed.
Excellent.
It's a real good point. We've been talking about the entertainment and the event program that we have and meetings. Excellent point, bringing up the fact that we are wired for both video content, meaning TV, as well as radio for emergency information distribution. But that point is excellent, Dick. When all else fails, because fiber can go down, cable can go down, you lose the web, etc. The old battery-powered radio, because we have a 24/7 generator, so we are always up and running at WBNH Radio, and we're connected to police, and they can override anything and everything that is being run on WBNH Radio. Good point, good point. I'm going to bring in another gentleman here, if you don't mind, Dick.
Thank you, Dick.
All right, thanks for
Nice
dropping by.
chatting with you.
If I could just bring in, I need to bring in a gentleman that has been a long time BCTV and now WBNH radio volunteer. As a matter of fact, it's Mike Robinson, who is the play-by-play. Hold on to that, Mike. He's our play-by-play voice for Bulldog football.
Thank you.
And sometimes you'll hear him on BHS basketball. Michael, welcome.
Well, very generous with that term gentleman, because it's the first time I've been called that in a while. But I actually came over here to bribe the crew. I brought over pizza.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
We have a booth here for Lady Bulldogs volleyball.
Yep.
When we're serving the youth volleyball for girls ages 4th through 8th grade. Instructional league in town. It's our second full year. A lot of participation, a lot of growth, a lot of buzz for Lady Bulldogs volleyball, and we're here showing the flag today. And we had pizza from Vintage Pizza, formerly
Nice.
Home Run
Nice.
Pizza
Yep,
on Candia Road.
Yep. Thank
so
you.
I
to
wanted
them.
to bring over some food and
Thank you.
feed the crew.
Well, you know, it's really interesting.
Thank you, Mike.
we
Welcome, Colin.
yeah, we talk about the traditional sports, but sometimes it just takes somebody in the community to bring attention and focus to something that might not be right at the top of when you think about sports. Volleyball is
Yeah.
one of the sports that just finally started getting into the high school makeup, and you're one of the primary drivers behind it, my friend. Not to embarrass you, but you are.
No, I appreciate that. But a couple years ago, Dan Adams and myself were sitting at a volleyball match that our daughters were playing, and I think we were over in Hollis Brookline, and that's one of the standards that everyone sets to get as good as Hollis, that program. And we said to ourselves, what's missing in Bedford? What's missing in Bedford is the youth volleyball instructional portion in the town of Bedford. So we put our heads together. We started calling around for gym space, which is the tough thing to get. We started putting the word out, and we had some great impact, and we had some great feedback in our first session. It's grown since then. We saw that this year's Lurgio team had 5 or 6 or 7 players who came through our program the past 2 years that made the team. So, and that's a team that's tough to make, because there's like, I don't know, 100 kids try out and they keep 20, so there's like 80 kids not. I'm exaggerating there, but there's a bunch of kids that don't make the team, and we want those kids who may not have made the team to come through our program, get better in the skills, you know, learn the game, and next year hopefully make Lurgio, if not make their high school team. And you know,
You're a perfect example of coming up with an idea rather than just sitting back and, let's say, complaining and saying, why don't we have this? And you know, sometimes when you're getting into recreation, there's dollars that tax dollars being used for this, that, so you have to compete for the dollars. And you and the folks that started the youth program had to say, why don't we have this? You turned around and said, hey, we're going to get this. How should we go about doing this? And I know you went before the Parks and Recreation Commission, and you've talked to the town, and I think you're presenting to the council. Where are we with all that?
So what we did, okay, so what you're talking about is the sand volleyball courts that we want to put in town. As a matter of fact, it's going to be right on the other side of the pool here, hopefully, is our location. So we did pitch Parks and Rec to use some impact fees to build 2 first-class sand volleyball courts in town, and they graciously accepted our proposal to move forward, and now we're going to be going to the town council with our proposal. And if all goes well, we can get some impact fees to build a beautiful state-of-the-art 2 courts right over here, and have some summertime activity.
I think that'd be great.
A lot of the girls who are doing sand volleyball are going to the Hollis Brookline courts. That's the closest really beautiful sand volleyball courts in our area. So if we can get them in Bedford, now our kids won't have to go to Hollis Brookline to do summer sand volleyball. And it'll be open for adults, anybody. I mean, hopefully it's going to be a program that's going to catch on, and you know, youth and adults will be able to play sand volleyball.
So I go back years with Mike. So Mike not only is driving, you know, the recreational volleyball and really involved with the high school volleyball program, but there was one gentleman that I really knew back in 2001, 2002 that was also very instrumental in starting the football Jaguars program, and that is Mike right here as well. So you have done some great things in kind of getting these youth programs going, because as Mike mentioned at the beginning, if you're going to fill, and this is why Bedford I think has some great teams, you need to start with the recreational youth development programs. And
yeah, well, thanks for that plug. I wasn't the only one, of course. We had Belviso, we had
Jimmy Astorita,
Kurt Wicks,
all those guys.
Griner was on that first board. Mike Dillon. I could go on and on. I know I'm missing some names out there, but that was a lot of fun because before that we sent our kids over to West for the West Raiders.
I said
and then
Manchester West Raiders.
Yeah, I had,
Parkside School.
You weren't sure if you were going to get glass or hypodermic needles when you were done cleaning uniforms after, but we got through it. It wasn't that bad. I shouldn't say that because they did a nice job there. So.
All right. It looks like Colleen is.
Somebody else up, I hope. Somebody's going to take my place.
Hey, we'd like to add that
too much air here.
But we'd like to add, because we love talking sports, that the Jags and the Junior Bulldogs have combined
this year. Yeah.
And now there's just one league
and one level, and
one spirit squad and all that sort of stuff. So
we're thrilled. So,
thank you. All righty, that's good. The Rotary Club. The Rotary Club, an international organization, not only national, that is probably one of the biggest caring, gift-giving organizations in the world. And I have two representatives here from the town of Bedford, and I'm just going to have you gentlemen actually hold the mic and introduce yourself.
I'm Charlie Pearman, past president of Bedford Rotary.
I'm Bob McPherson, and I'm the current president of the Bedford Rotary Club.
All right, gentlemen, you can hang on to that. You guys have been involved in the Rotary now. We've gone over to a couple of your meetings every once in a while, and we're still trying to line it up because our day's long. But you guys you meet once a week.
Yes, we do.
Every Wednesday, Manchester Country Club, breakfast served, starting at 7:30. Presentations begin at 8. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that is absolutely right, and we'd be glad to have anyone who's out there listening to join us. As Bill said, it's every Wednesday, 7:30 at the Country Club, and we have some very interesting speakers, and including Bill Jennings himself, who's been there to speak for us.
And I guess they're lining me up to do another presentation.
And we are lining them up, so as soon as we find that date, we will let you know.
All right, there you go.
It'll be a great meeting to attend, but we do welcome visitors for all of our meetings and anyone who'd like to be a prospective member.
And how do people find out information? Do you have a website, a Facebook page, phone numbers? Tell us the contact information.
All of the above, yes. Best thing to do is get on our website, okay? Or my phone number is 488-1559. Give me a call anytime. And while we're at it, emails are always good. bob.mcpherson@aol.com. I'd love to have your emails, and anyone who's interested, please give me a call, do an email, or stop by.
Excellent.
We're also on Facebook.
And yes, we are also on Facebook. Yeah, we have.
Oh, the Rotary has jumped into the future with a Facebook page, which is absolutely outstanding.
We have some of our younger members who have got us into the Facebook.
So one of the things I noticed is if you really want to start off your day laughing,
yes,
the Rotary Club meetings is a lot of digging and there's fines and it's just an awful lot of fun. And you just don't have a meeting for the sake of having a meeting. You try to, as you said, get a speaker, provide some information, and as I said, we want to get a little more involved in that because some of the speakers that we'd like to get will say no to us when we're doing some series, but they'll go and present to you. So that's our backdoor way of us being able to record them.
But you'd be welcome anytime. You'd be welcome anytime to come film any of our presentations.
Oh, that's great.
We have speakers from across the board. Public service, like Rick Sawyer or the chief of police will come in. Academia, we frequently have a professor from St. Anselm's College, or 3 or 4 that come talk to us, as well as business leaders around and business people. So we have a speaker at least 3 out of 4 weeks a month. The other meeting each month is a club assembly.
That's great.
Where we plan our fundraising and other events.
Well, let's talk about, before I get into the fundraising events, because you really have to work hard, you guys give away a lot of money.
Yes, we do.
How much do you guys give away in scholarships? And I know there's different organizations that will come to you and kind of present.
Yes.
Is that something that you can share with us?
Oh, yes. We average about $35,000 a year, okay? In addition, all of the Rotary members help the Salvation Army at Christmas time. They have their Salvation Army kettle over at the Harvest Market, and we volunteer our time. Everybody takes at least 4 hours, and generally we raise another $10,000 from that kettle from Thanksgiving until the day before Christmas. That goes right into the Salvation Army and all the good things that they do. So in total, I'd say the $35,000 that we donate to various organizations, and at least $12,000 to $13,000 of that goes to scholarship money for local students, is the other $10,000. So probably in total $45,000 every year.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let's talk about, because I know, let's talk about those fundraisers, because there's two that we're very, very familiar with. Which one do you love, Colleen?
Well, the idol competition is one of the great ones. The regional idol competition. Ed Bordelot volunteers with us and helps get that publicity through BCTV, and we've had some great talent in our studios because of it, and so that's one that people's really there's some really good local talent.
Absolutely, and I kind of jump in because we kind of work hand in hand with them. But there's an awful lot of work, and I know as a president, and you had to do it as a past president, you get out front. It's over at St. Anselm's College.
Yes, it is.
The talent now is a lot of competition, and when you get it down to a dozen people with that full band that Ed brings, and Jan Bordelot as well.
Yes.
Tell us.
Yes, we solicit participation from all the area high schools. We always have someone or more, or 2 or 3 contestants from Bedford High School, and over 20 will apply, and then Ed and Jan will audition and narrow it down to the 12 finalists. And their talent is
amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
the word.
It is
Excellent,
absolutely amazing.
And we work with them. Ed and Jan and Paul work with them. They help with all the musical lyrics. They coach them. They give them a training before they go on stage. And then all of these contestants, the 12 contestants, get to play with the live band, as you mentioned.
Yep.
And then that night, the 4 finalists will be selected, and each one of them will receive a scholarship to the college of their choice. But in addition to that, from the money that we raise from our program book, we will provide a $1,000 scholarship to a Bedford student going on to a career or a school in music, as well as to one at West High School. So it's very important fundraiser for us, and it helps for the scholarships and for some of the other things that we try to do for the community.
And the competitors do not have to be seniors. They can compete at a younger age and save those scholarships, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
In fact, most of our winners have not been seniors.
Right.
They've been sophomores and juniors at various schools. And if you don't win, you can come back a second year and try again. So we've had a lot of repeats. It's becoming very competitive. And just in case you didn't read it, this year is on January 13th, or next year, 2018. And we'll look forward to trying to sell out St. Anselm's, because tickets are the way we make money. And in addition to the program book, which I didn't bring one, but we have a program book, and we're always looking for advertisers for the program book.
I have to say, I've been several times. It is professional as you can get. It is great entertainment. The lighting's phenomenal. The band's fantastic. And for what you charge for a ticket is minimal for the entertainment that you get, and it's all going to a good cause. I'm going to talk about, so that's January. There's one other one that I thought you would have jumped right on it.
Oh, I know now. The pasta night.
There you go.
The great event that everyone needs to take on.
Let me talk about pasta night and make a live announcement here if I can. We're actually moving the pasta night to September next year.
Oh, because usually it's in the
it'll be
spring.
the last Sunday in September, and we're changing it from a pasta night to a Taste of Italy.
Whoa!
We're going to Italian Festival, Taste of Italy. We anticipate having 10 or 12 restaurants come in and serve Italian food of various types. Still in the planning stages. A lot of work to get done to make it happen, but we have a couple of restaurants already committed, and we expect to have a bunch at that point.
And that's the last Sunday of what now?
Of September, be the 29th of September.
I'm just looking at it. Okay. But so this year, though,
so nothing
it's
in the spring.
There'll be no pasta night in this spring.
September, look for the Taste of Ity.
Yes, indeed.
That sounds awesome.
That is a winner. It was before the idol contest. Everything you guys seem to put together and make a commitment to just is so phenomenal. Pasta night's unbelievable. The Rotary Idol contest that takes in everybody is entertaining. You guys do such a great job. And by the way, they're volunteers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
They're volunteers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So gentlemen, thank you so much. And we'll be making...
Could I add one?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go right here.
Yes. Our other big fundraiser, and we have to put a word in for that, is the Bedford Rotary Road Race. And it's always in May.
How did I forget that?
And it's for all ages, all types of runners. You can qualify. Sometimes we have a race that will help you qualify for bigger races and marathons and that type of thing. But we have both a 5K and a 12K. And in addition to that, for the families, we have a children's road race. And I mentioned the children's road race because that helps us support the children's library at the Bedford Library in their reading program. And this year, Marianne Sinatra's reported out that, the children reading program. But we need a good turnout, and runners and children come out and have a good time. It's a fun event, and it's another way to help us help the community. So
Can I make one more point?
Sure.
Yes.
There's one other event that I'd just like to talk about. Every December, the first weekend of December, we have seniors from 7 or 8 nursing homes, assisted living facilities in the Bedford area to the Manchester Country Club for a holiday lunch. We end up having 80 to 100 seniors and 80 to 100 Rotarians who sometimes bring a senior that's a family relative. Our spouses come. But it's one of our great events of community service that we do in this community that the nursing homes look forward to every year. The country club looks forward to doing it. We serve a full turkey dinner, typical holiday feast. Santa comes, we have a band, we sing Christmas carols, and it is a great event that Rotarians love to do, and those that are able to come love to participate.
And that's
Thank you
great
very
that
much,
you mentioned
Paula.
that, because I'm not sure that we were even aware of that. So
Yeah.
some people may not know about that event, so thank you for sharing.
It always makes for a nice Christmas for those people who run nursing homes.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, I think we have
Thank you.
the
Thank you.
CBY group.
All right, we got CBO. Thanks, gentlemen, for coming over.
Thank you
Really
for having us.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good luck at your booth today.
Okay. We'll take all the luck.
Not me.
Okay,
I'm 12:30, right?
come on over.
Yep. How many do we have? Oh,
Go ahead, Dick. Okay, thank you.
Me here.
sure.
Right here.
Oh, thank you, Dick. All right, take care.
So thank you for waiting, Val.
Take my.
Took us a little while here to get to you.
That's all right.
Doing a good job, Bill?
So
Hey, Ed, how are you? We're alive right now.
introduce
Yeah,
yourself to
good talking to you.
everybody at home, and
Hey,
we'll talk about your organization.
And just start. Okay.
Hi, I'm Valerie Earnshaw. I'm the chair of the Bedford Republican Committee. Let me just tell a little bit about it.
Yes,
Sure.
tell us about the
Okay,
Bedford
so
Republican Committee.
no, there's a lot of Republicans in Bedford, and we try to be the organization where everybody can come together and share ideas and know about what's going on. Republicans are cut from a lot of different cloths, and we like to think of ourselves as the big tent organization where everybody is welcome. During the time when we have elections, we kind of feel like it's our job to help the people in Bedford get to know the candidates get to know the people in Bedford, and so we really can have an educated electorate. We can get the candidates that we need and then make the changes that we want. When it's not an election time, we do more kind of issue education. We try to have subject experts come and speak at our meetings. We're going to have somebody speaking about health care at our October meeting. We're going to have somebody come and speak about defense in our November meeting. So that's basically what we do, is try to educate, bring people together, and promote the Republican ideas. We really feel like if government is limited to its essential purposes, then everybody will have the opportunity to fulfill their potential.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's a website, Val?
Yes, we have a website, bedfordrepublicans.org, and it has our information about it. It has the information about who all of our reps are, so if you have an issue that you're concerned about, you can go to our website and have a link directly to contact our reps at the state level.
So we at Bedford Community Television as well as WBNH Radio work very closely with Val and the respective Democrat at your counterpart chair anytime there are elections going on, because our policies allow for a 30-minute interview of the candidate. The host is provided by the candidate, or the chair can direct somebody to assist your respective candidate. Val's been very, very helpful. What this does for us is she takes care of coordinating and getting everybody scheduled. And just want to emphasize that anybody running for office has that opportunity at BCTV. And what we started doing this year, Val, is those interviews that we did in the studio, we made them available for radio. So we had them broadcast on 105.1 FM. So you'll get your publicity, first starting by filing your paperwork to say you're going to run for office, and then I guess you take them through.
Said, yeah, we've never voted for a president that we haven't met and been able to shake their hand and look them in the eye. And I was like, are you kidding me? I came from DC and from Texas and places where you don't get to meet the candidates. And so it's a fabulous opportunity in New Hampshire to do that. And we try to facilitate it as much as possible.
That's a great point. It's nice to be first in the country, huh?
Right. We love that first in the nation primary. It gives us a lot of access.
Yeah. And you're doing a heck of a job. And thanks so much for kind of bringing that spirit with you and just helping to keep that grassroots government going where it's supposed to be going, starting here in the town.
Well, and a lot of people complain about what goes on in the government, and I just say, you have to be involved, you have to be informed, and you really do have the power here to make a difference. And
Amen.
That's something, like if an election didn't go my way, I was always like, oh, I should have done a little bit more because I could have made a difference.
Yeah.
And it's a great thing. So I would encourage everybody to get involved.
Thanks. Don't complain. Get involved.
Get involved.
Thanks,
get
Val.
Educated. All right. Thank you. We appreciate all that you do.
Here. Listen, thank you.
Take care. Okay, I hope that was good.
Yeah, that was very good. Thank you.
I'll have to play with my grandkids.
There you go.
Hi, come on over. Are you on our list here?
Yeah, I'm Shayna.
Oh, yes, Shayna. I didn't recognize you with your glasses on.
Hi, Shayna. I'm going to give this to you right now.
With the Democratic Committee.
The Democrats.
So here we are. This is great. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the Democratic Committee and how people get involved and what it's all about.
Sure. Well, we're actually having. We wait till they pass. Is that?
Oh, we can pick you up.
Yeah. Okay. So we're handing out these today, which is basically our next 4 meeting dates. So we're just trying to bring people in.
And you can tell them what the meeting dates
are. Sure. So we meet October 2nd, November 6th, December 4th, January 8th, and we meet at the library in the McAllister Room, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. We changed our meetings to nighttime so that we could bring more people in. We were before, last year we were meeting during the day and we were having, the core group of us there, but once we shifted to night, we were having 60, 75 people show up. So it was really great that people have to
work during the day.
Yeah, people work during the day.
Now, do you have speakers? I know Val said that they have some things going,
Absolutely.
So do you have anything planned within?
Yep. This upcoming meeting, we are having the Bedford Food Pantry come and speak. At our ice cream social last week, we collected money for them. We were raising money for them, and I think we raised like $200. And
every little bit helps.
Every little bit helps. It was a small amount of people that came, but it was a good it was a good little social that we had. And then we're also having the New Hampshire Young Democrats come in to speak to figure out ways we can involve the youth here in Bedford.
That's great.
And just give them options. And we have had Steve Marchand come plenty of times, Chris Pappas, Gene Deitch is at all of our meetings.
Sure.
So we have a pretty good representation of speakers. Our goal is to have at least one speaker every meeting.
Yep.
And then we have time for socializing and it's pretty good.
So what about a website or contact information in case people were interested in joining?
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook. You can search for Bedford New Hampshire Democrats, and our website is hcnhdis.org/Bedford. It's not
Everybody remember that?
If you go to the Hillsborough County site, you can find us through
Can they
there.
do a Google search? No, most people will do that.
Probably, yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
When in doubt, that's what I normally end up doing.
So-
I just like to add something. You know, and you take a look at you and Val and different people coming in. You do recognize all volunteers. You know, it's just something that if you have a belief in something, it doesn't have to be political, and this is your passion, you know, you just say, I want to make a difference. You know, particularly in politics nowadays, and I just said that to Val. If you're just sitting back and complaining and you're not doing anything about it, then shame on you. And it's because of the tendency to say somebody else will manage that or run with it. And of course, you know what's going on in the country right now. So if you don't like what's going on,
Yeah, I heard what Val was saying. I mean, really, that's my philosophy too. You know, if you don't like something, you got to get out there and be the one that changes it. I mean, I'm also chair of the Energy Commission here in town. And you know, we're trying to organize another Solar Up campaign, and because that was really successful. Our goal was to get double the amount of solar roofs here in town, and we surpassed that. We did. So we're trying to. There's an initiative going on the Seacoast where it's kind of the same thing. The group that we were with, Solar Up, has moved on to other parts of the state. So we're talking to them to try to bring it back here and do another round.
That's great.
Yeah, and we're still trying to get a solar thing installed somewhere that would benefit the town, that would power the town buildings.
So I don't know how many we have stacked up, but I do want to talk about one thing. That Energy Commission is one of those so committed organization that Chris Bandazian's been part of that right from its inception. And the geothermal system that they put, the geothermal HVAC heating and cooling system, we've covered it. We've had, it's something that doesn't, in my mind, isn't driven unless we have that Energy Commission in place. And just tell folks a little bit about some of that.
Sure. I mean, that was a collaboration with the Energy Commission and the Town Council and the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission and the library. And we had a need at the library because they were leaking everywhere. Their HVAC system was just uncontrollable, and they had done all of the building envelope things to secure it, make it insulated, close all the gaps, and it still wasn't helping. You would go into one part of the library, it would be freezing, and another part would be roasting, you know. So the system needed to be overhauled, and the conventional system, we had priced it out and they had already been approved for a bond. I can't remember the figures. So the town had already voted on the bond for it. And then the Energy Commission started researching the alternatives, you know, and geothermal ended up being extremely plausible because the payback period was so fast.
And there was state grants involved, correct?
So yeah, there was a significant amount over what the bond was that we would have needed to raise, and we didn't want to go back to the town and say we need more money. So because all this initial work had been done by Chris and the Southern New Hampshire Planning Commission, when that grant came up for the Reggie funds, we had so much back work already done that we were able to submit a very impressive application for it. And it was an $800,000 grant. You know, it was a lot of money. That's how we got it in.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. And it just takes folks like yourself, say,
we can
become
do this.
part of something.
You just gotta pick
I love
a
that.
thing,
We can
pick
do
a
this.
Thing and break down the steps to it, and it's not insurmountable.
That's a great motto. I'm surprised we can do this.
We can do this.
Yeah, there you go.
Totally.
New motto.
Well, Shayna Bachman, we can do this.
Thank you, Shayna. Thank you.
Great to be here. Thank you.
And by the way, thank you for introducing Mark to us, because now he works for us now. Yeah, he really does. So thank you very much.
Good,
So.
I'm glad.
All right, thanks, Shayna. Take care. All righty. See you later.
I'll leave this with you.
All right.
So come on over, kids.
So what I was doing, I was just going to take a look to see if we're streaming, so I could just show the. Yeah, well, I just wanted to kind of show the folks at home that you can be watching us right now on this phone. I was going to bring it up. I'm going to turn this. I'm going to give this to you, young man. And Colleen, can you introduce our guest?
So this is just a little bit over scoot on over. We want to make sure we got you in. The Coalition for Bedford Youth. Why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us what is the Coalition?
So, first off,
I'm going to get a little bit closer. Oh. There you go.
First of all, I'm Nathan Canner, and
I am Autumn McIntyre.
And we're from Coalition for Bedford Youth. So we are a community service organization just looking to improve the community, whether it be through assisting people in different events and needs, such as we help clean up Camp Allen in order to help make sure they're ready for the next year, or we run the Lurgio Talent Show and raise money for the Salvation Army while doing that. And our job is to just make a more well-rounded community in order to help out whoever we can, wherever we can, and just help make everyone happier as a whole.
And who are the members of the Coalition?
We have a lot of members, but the people who lead it would be me, Isabel O'Brien, Noel Damaris, and Zach Latender. Those are the people who help lead the meetings. We call ourselves the facilitators, which means that we make sure that stuff is on track, because we are all a student-run club too. And to add on to kind of what Nathan said as well, we're also trying to create the leaders of tomorrow and also help make well-rounded young adults and prepare them for the real world and to really better ourselves and everyone else as well.
So to belong to the group.
Grade. But then we also have a CBY through Lurgio, and we have one through the McKelvey Intermediate School.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So the younger kids can start getting into the group as well.
Yes.
And if someone wanted to join, how would they find you and how would they join?
They can go on our website, cbynh.org, or they could come to our meetings, which is every other Wednesday in the Ross A. Lurgio Media Center from 6:30 to 8.
Now, do you have a class advisor, I should say club advisor?
Yes, we do. Our advisor is Mrs. Herrick, who is the health teacher in the Lurgio Middle School.
Okay. So how many are in the organization right now?
About, I'd like to say, 25 kids in the high school version. I'd say in about RAL, it's about, how many would you say? About 15 to 20 kids in the, and we don't know how many are in McKelvey because they are still training. It's much easier to get in contact with Lurgio kids than it is McKelvey because we're on two different ends of the street.
Right, exactly.
So you're already being a reporter, working that microphone, I know. So you're part of the media.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Bedford High School has Bulldog Studios and Bulldogs Unleashed, so if you want to get into that, that's pretty good. And they use our studios. I'm going to ask you a little bit of a question here to take you into your mission a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, what is the focus? Bringing youth together. Now, you know, and help me out here, with prescription drugs and opiates and getting into the high schools and even at younger levels. It's part of your mission to educate in that environment? Is that the primary mission, or what is your mission?
We follow these things that are called the 40 developmental assets to help create the leaders, and it's stuff like being honest, going to your parents for support, for being loyal, just for like all of those core good assets that everyone should have to make themselves a better person. And one thing our club strives to do is help bring together people who are maybe struggling in life, because I know before I was in this club I was in a really bad place too, and we're trying to help bring people together and be a good support system.
Wow, your confidence level is just phenomenal. So to say that, I think we all get challenged at some particular point, but to just listen to your effervescent personality right now, it's like, wow. So sounds like
a great way to make new friends.
Yeah, it's honestly a good place. It's just like a very good and friendly environment. It's very good. So if you have nowhere to go and you don't know where to go, it's very good. I mean, I was in the same place as Autumn. I've been here a year, maybe longer. I'm a senior, she's a junior. And honestly, I wasn't in the best place either. Then I got the letter saying, hey, we'd like you to join, because to the 8th graders we send a couple letters to a bunch of different students through the guidance counselors and homeroom teachers of Lurgio, and they invite you. And I went. I ended up really enjoying it. It always kind of gave me a place to go to, feel welcomed. I didn't feel trapped. It felt like just a nice, relaxing environment. It's just kind of good, and it keeps you away.
Have open arms. Everyone is welcome.
No judging.
We want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. That sounds
And
awesome.
I mean, also, it's just, another thing is just be open about what we're talking about. It's just very big on communication. Communication is very good, especially like if you're having problems, speak up, don't keep it in. Like, we're very good. It's just kind of an environment that you kind of let all your problems go away, and you stay on task and you try and help other people, and you just try and have a good time while doing it.
I just can't get over how outgoing you guys are, how confident you are, how articulate you are, and where you might have been and where you are right now. I would have to say, 'cause as night and day, you're both very, very confident. And here we are going out on live TV, and what I'm listening to are two very evangelical kind of people, not preaching, but being honest and just saying, if you're alone, come join us. Come be with us, because hey, we were there, and we can take you all, take you all in and become something different.
In the 8th grade again.
Oh my God! I mean, it's
I'd like to join.
and I just think with young people, and I'm a real old. Is well, thanks. I like him. That there's a lot of challenges, and when you get into communications, when I was growing up and you growing up, we didn't have Facebook and all the different ways of distributing information with fake, false, or whatever. But it seems like everybody is in one another's lives more than they should be, with information that isn't totally accurate. So it's kind of like surround yourself with people that you that you feel you can be trustful with,
I mean, we even tried running a social media site at some point. Like, we tried running a Facebook and a Twitter, and we kind of realized after doing it, it really wasn't entirely what our organization was. We felt it didn't really feel like us. I mean, it worked for what it was, but it didn't feel right. It wasn't as personal. It wasn't as just what it should be. Because a lot of people think, oh, you're getting to really know someone through social media, but truth is, you don't truly get to know a person as well as when you're sitting right in front of them talking to them. And it just didn't work out. We stopped, and we've still had plenty of success without running a Facebook and Twitter page, and
interesting.
It's been very good.
I've known about CBY, Coalition for Bedford Youth, and for a number of years. We go way back when we started doing this stuff, and had an opportunity to talk to a few of the people. Usually it was adults that were talking about it because the kids were, doing their thing, or they might have not reached the confidence level that you guys had. And when a message is getting out there about youth, where do you think that message should come from? Youth. And you're a living example of an organization, in my mind, that can help instill confidence, and have co-members that just care about one another.
I mean, I've seen many people come in and have they haven't been in the best place, and they've completely changed as they come in. I've seen them being there since my 8th grade year. I've seen people that I've just met, and I've seen them completely have their personalities do a 180 just from being in the group. And I've seen them grow kind of like we have, and just change. If you want to become a better person, it's still just to change yourself. It's a good place to be.
Question I have for you, and this is really great, and I don't know if we're stacking. Okay. I want to ask you both. When you see a student in the halls or wherever in class, and that person, you've ever heard that expression, see something, say something. Do you ever take the initiative and kind of chat and feel comfortable to go up to that individual and say, hey, we have this club? I mean, do you do that, or do you feel comfortable, or you just kind of have to give them a little bit? It's kind of something you have to balance.
Yeah, I tend to normally, I just try and help most of the time. I try and help. I don't try it. I try to get to know them, try and help them out. Later, I will sometimes bring it up in terms of just being because you don't want to just kind of pressure them. It's just I only do it if I feel like it'd be right for the person. Because not everyone is okay with going entirely public. There's plenty of people who just don't feel like putting themselves out there helps, but there are others that do. It's just a matter of situation to situation basis. You could do this as a full-time profession. You look like you could be, both of you, just phenomenal. You guys are great. It is probably the clearest and most in-depth overview of CBY, having two very articulate students at Bedford High School, a senior and a junior. And guys, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
We appreciate
you. Yeah, take advantage of any of the events. Colleen, runs all our digital signage for promoting, and we can do video PSAs, and we can help you out in promoting everything that you can do in high school.
Awesome.
All right. What a great club. Hey, Coalition for Bedford Youth. One more time, how can they get in contact with you?
You can go to our website, cbynh.org, or you can come to our meetings, which are every other Wednesday in the Lergio Media Center from 6:30 to 8. And on October 18th, we're actually having a new members meeting, so you can also stop by at that as well.
And for that new members meeting, parents are welcome for that first meeting. If you have a kid who wants to join, it's a very good time. And if the parents want to see further what we are about, feel free to come by.
Excellent.
You guys are excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Have a great night.
If you guys ever want a job in the media world, just contact us. We'll be. You guys are very good. All right. Take care. Best of luck to you. Oh, that was excellent.
That was
what a couple of great students.
Making our jobs easy.
Yeah, if you
We
listen.
have Mr. Danielson here, who's joining us live on TV.
Only 25 minutes late.
And then we have members of the Women's Club that are coming right here.
We got.
You're on.
Yeah.
That's right, I scheduled you.
Come on
So as you can tell, there's a little bit of informality here. This is what goes on down at Old Town Day, but right now we're going to have the Women's Club. And I don't know who is joining us. The Women's Club. All right, we're going to actually.
We're the Women's Club, yes. We're joining you for now. And I
Just because they're
thought
women,
this
that
was
gave it away.
radio. I didn't know it was TV, or I would have combed my hair and put my lipstick on.
You look wonderful. You look absolutely wonderful. What I'm going to do is hand the microphone over to you both, and then you can introduce yourself, and we'll be asking you a few questions. Real simple one is your names, and then tell us about your organization. So I'm going to hand the microphone to you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Joan Miller. I'm a past president of the Bedford Women's Club, and this is...
I'm Benny Hanauer, and I'm a current vice president of the Women's Club, in charge of programs.
You wouldn't be by any chance the other half of that other guy. That's Jerry Hanauer, who's been a BCTV volunteer for us in the past, and I know your daughter lives in town too.
Yes,
Yep, and she's down at the bank, I think, and so it's good to have family in the area. So.
Should I plug the bank or not?
Yeah, no, well, I can't really. That's why I just said the bank. So it's very good. So
tell us about the Women's Club. How do people get involved and become members, and what is the mission?
Well, the Women's Club is a great venue for those who are new to town and haven't made friends yet. I'm from a large city. You're used to having neighbors right next to you. But in Bedford, the properties are spread apart a little, and it's harder to make friends just walking up and down the street.
That's true.
So joining the Women's Club is a great way to get acquainted. The Women's Club aim is to do good for the community. We provide scholarships for high school graduates and for non-traditional women. And we also donate to the charities which benefit Bedford, such as
The charities we've given to the Bedford Library, we've given to the Bedford School System, Stand By Me program for one, the Bedford Cemeteries, groups like, they don't have to be from Bedford, the group that we have a process where you apply and we choose from those people that are asking for money. And we give
scholarships for students?
Scholarships for students. We usually have about, 3 or 4 scholarships a year. Again, the student must be from Bedford, doesn't have to go to a Bedford school specifically. And that's that. Plus, we have a very nice social aspect to the club. It is a service organization, but it's also a social, where we have monthly meetings, little luncheon meetings with speakers. For example, in November, we're having John Clayton as one of our speakers.
he's an excellent speaker.
That's what I've heard.
He has a story for everything.
I've heard that. We're looking forward to him, and among others.
And where do you meet?
We meet at the Presbyterian Church here on Church Road in Bedford.
Okay.
Typically the third Thursday of every month.
Okay.
We usually have about 70 people that attend, I would say, maybe more.
70 to 100.
Right, really.
Wow.
So but they fit us all in there at the Presbyterian
And do you have a
Church.
website that lists all this information?
We do.
And tell us that.
Our website is www.bedfordwomensclub.org.
That's easy to remember.
Yes.
Women's Club.
Club.org.
Yeah.
And we also put a notice in the paper when we have a meeting coming up and announce the program. We do have a couple meetings a year that are members only. They're business meetings, but otherwise guests are always welcome. And because we are a fairly large club, we also break into interest groups. And we have 20 to 25 interest groups, things like bicycling, the book group, bunco, crocheting, you name it, golf, hiking, kayaking, mahjong, lunching out, It goes on.
Something for
You
everyone.
guys
Yes.
are
That's excellent.
a fun group.
We are. And men can get in on it too. They cannot become members, but we have some cooking groups that are for couples or for 2 people anyhow.
That's
because
great.
it can be a woman and her friend. And they do dinners and they do brunches. So I have heard that a great many husbands have found friends through their wives' membership in the Women's Club. So we hope to benefit the community in more ways than one.
What's going on in your booth? What are you doing?
We've got a beanbag toss.
Yeah.
And we've got some pretty good pitchers here in Bedford.
That's right.
I think softball and baseball both, because we've had both overhand and underhand pitching going on there.
I think the way to recognize where your booth is just listen to all the laughter.
Yes, that's a good way to do it. And we also have some very lovely note paper. A couple of the husbands and one of our own members who's a professional photographer have lent their photographs to our beautiful note paper, and so we have that available for sale, along with information about becoming a member of the Women's Club. So stop by or come to our website or come visit at one of our meetings, and we'd love to introduce you to the group.
Well, thank you.
You'll get involved.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us, and good luck at your booth and with your organization.
Okay.
Thank you. To talk to you.
We might have to go those cooking classes, Chris. What do you think, huh? Again, what I'd like to point out is, thank you, ladies. Behind the camera is Chris Gentry, broadcast production coordinator, and he's been on his feet while we've just been sitting down and enjoying. But he is eating that pizza, so you know.
Is that good?
I know.
I'll have to go try that.
Hey, so when you have the Bedford Women's Club, you have to bring in the Bedford Men's Club.
Okay, I'll let you do that
I
next.
used to have one of the first E&G cameras. So.
Thank you.
Hey, come on in here, young man.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
All right, Dante.
Good to see you.
All right, I'm going to give you this. And so as we just happened to mention, the ladies, that to find the Bedford Women's Club tent, you just listen to the laughter. When you hear the roar of laughter, you look for the Bedford Men's Club.
Mostly young children who are in there doing their thing, jumping around the bounce house.
Dante, introduce everybody on live TV here.
My name is Dante D'Amato. I have the privilege of serving as president of the Bedford Men's Club, and I'm very grateful to BCTV for giving us an opportunity to come on and talk about the club and the events we go to.
Sounds great. Bedford Men's Club has been around forever.
Almost.
Yeah.
I haven't, but
you haven't. I understand. And it's a great organization that raises money and gives back to the community. Again, another volunteer organization. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, the question I have for you, how much money does the Men's Club give away in scholarships and different requests?
Well, totally throughout the year we give away about $10,000 to $12,000 depending on how much we have and how much we raise. Scholarships, we give away 2 $1,000 scholarships every year to graduating seniors from Bedford, not necessarily Bedford High School, but also other high schools around town.
Yep.
And we give to youth sports organizations, sponsor sports teams. We give to academic programs in the schools. One of our big donation opportunities is for the Destination Imagination team and for Stand By Me. We sponsor the opening speaker. So that's one of our bigger donations.
And that's a big program. That Stand By Me is coming up in the June time frame of each year. Is that what it's in the spring? I know that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think it's for Lergio 7th graders.
Lergio, that's right. And all 3 of my kids went through it. It's a great program.
Yeah, my son did, and he's in his 30s now.
Really, we're pleased to work so hard to raise money for an event like that.
Yeah, and I know that everybody appreciates it. You meet once a month?
That's right, once a month, usually the first Monday of the month. Sometimes we have to move it around because of holidays, especially Labor Day or 4th of July. And we've been meeting at Shorty's for the past several years. They've been very good to us. Been grateful for their assistance and ability to use their Santa Fe room.
Ah, that's great. Now you have some fundraisers, and why don't you explain some of the fundraisers? I know you have one big one that.
The one big one is the Christmas tree sale. We ask folks, if you're in the market for Christmas tree, please come out. That's our big fundraiser. We have other fundraisers periodically, such as the We've had a golf tournament or an art auction and done some things like that. Some smaller ones, grilling at various events. We're here happy to sponsor the bounce house, but that's not a fundraiser for us. That's our opportunity to give back a little bit.
That's great. Also potential recruits as well.
That's
too,
right.
so
That's
which is
right.
really
We have flyers and brochures. Anybody wants to come by, please grab a flyer and feel free to come to our next meeting, which is October 2nd.
That's absolutely outstanding, and I know you guys are just been a big part of the Bedford community for years. So, you know, if you're looking to get together with a bunch of guys, socialize, and give back to the community, I know you guys have an awful lot of fun. We see you at different things, at different events. I've seen you out there at the Memorial Day parades and grilling up in different locations.
And there's one person I'd like to mention that finally we got as a member. For after years
I've been
of
to
trying,
one meeting.
After years of trying, we finally got Bill to be a member
I
of the
did,
club.
but I'm their publicity guy, so sometimes I'm there and sometimes I'm not. So
we know you're very busy with what you do for the town.
Those are the same excuses I've been using for years.
In your case, it's real.
I know. But well, thanks a lot, Dante. Do you have anything else you'd like to add about the men's club?
I'd like to ask any man in town who lives or works in Bedford, 21 years of age or older, go to our website, bedfordmensclub.com. Our next meeting is October 2nd. It's Monday night, 7 p.m. at Shorty's. Come on by. Very low-key organization. We don't ask for a whole lot. We ask you to volunteer for events. Our dues are only $25 a year. So it's really something that's a lot of fun. For myself, many of my friends are people I've met through the club who are members. So that's a big social thing for me.
If you can't remember that specific date in October, it's usually the first Monday of the month?
Usually the first Monday. September is always the second Monday because of Labor Day, and we have no meeting in December because we need everyone's hands selling Christmas trees.
There you go.
So
it's a fun time.
It's a good time.
There's a lot of good things going down there.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Nice to
Thank
see
you, Dante.
Thanks for your time.
All right, take care.
See you. So we have the Lions Club and then the American Legion and VFW. So Mike, come on over.
Okay, we worked it out. You
Awesome.
sit here. We worked it out.
Oh, that's good.
Come on
We're live
We're
right
live,
now,
so
so
come
that's
on.
good.
Come on, Marge.
I want everyone to know that Chris, the new
Nobody
guy,
can
is-
hear you. You can say that.
Here, introduce yourselves and
Thank
talk
you,
about your
Chris.
organization.
We appreciate all the work you've been doing so far. I really have.
All right, so who's going to be up?
March. I'm up.
Okay, so you can go back and forth.
All right, so we have the Lions Club here, and we have Mike Sills, who's also a member of the BCTV board.
Correct.
And Mike, why don't you
I
introduce
run several
the
programs.
Okay.
Which is the Community Corner. If you have a group that is a nonprofit or has a special function, just call Colleen and Bill, and they will schedule a 15-minute to a half-hour show. It's real easy, and I have lots of jokes. Right now, though,
We only have 3 minutes. Go for it.
no, that was Bill's 3 minutes.
We'll give you some more time.
My name is Mike Sills. I'm president of the Lions Club this year, and this is our 52nd, going into the 53rd year in Bedford. I think most of you know that we run a food pantry, that we have a Crutches for Haiti program, which will be now collecting for Mexico City, particularly the arm and leg damage there. We have scholarships, but we have two special new programs, relatively new. The Bedford Community Food Pantry, which we are now the sponsors of, and a special eye screening program with a brand new piece of equipment that Olde will tell you about. Well, for the food pantry, though, I'll have Marge Henderson on the board give you an overview.
Okay, the Bedford Community Food Pantry has been in existence now for almost 2 years, and recently the Bedford Lions Club assumed sponsorship of it. It's still located at the Bedford Presbyterian Church, and we welcome any Bedford residents who feel they could use some help with food. No strings attached. The only information we ask from you is your name and contact information. So we're open the first Saturday and the third Saturday of each month from 9 to 11 a.m. and then the Monday after each of those Saturdays. So the Monday after the first Saturday and the Monday after the third Saturday, we're open in the evening from 5:30 to 7:30. You are welcome to come if you could use some help with food temporarily
So
or
that's
on a
streaming
long-term
right
basis.
now.
It doesn't matter. You come, we'll give you food.
Cool.
And because of that, we always are welcoming food donations. from the community, and we also are always looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in doing either of those things, I can give you a phone number you can contact, and we can tell you what we need and make arrangements with you. The number is 603-867-1445. If you contact that number and leave a message, someone will get back to you within the day.
We have a special need now for small juice.
Yes, we have a. We started a school weekend lunch program. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So-
what I was going to ask for was the juice donations, the small juice donations, the cups, the single serving cups, are in particular need right now. The other thing we're doing is Ian's eye screening at the nursery schools and the library this summer.
Just letting you know, my name's Alda Cordero Goodman, and I'm a member of the Lions Club since 1992. What's important about the eye screening is we're trying to get the children from 6 months up screened before they get into the school system, so they're not coded unnecessarily, but actually we pick up a lot of things from nearsighted to farsightedness to astigmatism to actually unequal pupils and other issues. I screened, not just myself, but I was at the library during their story hours, before and after. Very short period of time, but in that time period this summer, we screened over 177 children from 6 months and above. Out of those, we had over 14 that were, quote, flagged, in other words, needed attention, and out of those, at least 7 needed glasses. They were so proud they came to see me because I was there from April, May, and June to actually middle of August, and they came and showed me their glasses. They were so proud because they could actually see and read now easily. So in other words, today during this Bedford Old Town Day, we actually connected with some private daycares who we're going to be screening them as well. The younger, the better to catch these problems earlier, so it can really help them in their education. Any other questions about it, please access, believe it or not, the library has us on their webpage, the town of Bedford has us on their webpage, the Bedford Lions. We're trying to update ours as best we can right now, but we're moving so quickly with the pantry. And the pantry is located at the Bedford Presbyterian. They nicely gave us a spot there, and it's called the Bedford Community Food Pantry at 4 Church Street. There you go.
Thanks. And in closing, a lot of people know me in town. Things close to my heart are my wife Claire and food. This year you'll see in the Bedford bulletins the Bedford Lions won the best presentation for nonprofits at the Henniker Rotary Chili Fest this summer. Thousands of people attended, and Head Fazalat is the chairman of that and the chief cook. I'd give you the recipe, but they'd make me eat more of it. So I just want to close out with that.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you, the Lions Club.
Coming on.
Thank you.
And if you don't realize it, Mike is probably on more organizations as a volunteer than anybody in the community.
Easy.
It sure does.
So we're going to end here with a couple more interviews. We have the American Legion and the VFW going to join us.
That's great.
So,
Hey, we really do appreciate you tuning in. If you're just catching us, we're down here at Old Town Days. It started at 10 o'clock. It ends at 3 p.m. Still plenty of time for everybody to come on down and enjoy. A lot of booths, a lot of food, and some great entertainment. And we're streaming live on Channel 16 on the channel, as well as on your mobile device and anything else that you might have on your table that has a computer attached to it. But this is the way a lot of people are watching us now, so you can watch us anywhere, anytime, any place. Right now, I have the VFW in here, and I'm going to have you gentlemen
American Legion.
and the American Legion.
Good afternoon. My name is Howard Souls, and I'm the post commander of Post 8401 Richard K. Harvell VFW post here in Bedford.
And good afternoon. My name is Ben Bahok, and I'm the newly elected commander for Post 54 of the American Legion here at Bedford as well.
You did not know that I'm also a member of 54.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, I am. You don't see me in any meetings.
Yep.
I'll be over at Sweeney Post, but I may not.
Sure.
and my dad of the VFW. So
Yeah,
there we go.
right.
We're covered
There we go.
here.
So,
Yep, perfect.
so you got a veteran and a daughter of a veteran. So,
Right. So tell us about your organizations.
So our organization meets on the first Tuesday of every month. We're currently meeting in the public library down at the McAllister Room. We meet there at 7:30. and obviously we have several programs that we'd like to promote, especially for the kids, scholarship-wise. Also, there's opportunities for competition as the oracle competition comes around in the fall, and then there's also the boys and girls meet, which happens in the summertime as well, which gives the kids an opportunity to come out and compete for scholarships through the American Legion.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding.
And also, as a member of the Legion, I'll add to what Ben said as far as boys and girls state, that a number of the young men and women that have gone to the service academies have gone to the boys and girls state.
Yeah.
That seems to be a nice factor in helping them get into the academies.
We actually had a young lady that took the initiative to start a BHS Bulldog Studios. Her name was Jill Tokat, that went to the girls program, and she was telling us all about it, how exciting it was. It's a great opportunity for a young man and young lady to really experience and expand their professionalism, if I could say to that, and obviously opens up doors for them, not only as something on their resume, but just to take them, as you mentioned, if they do want to go to any of the academies, it's nice to have that on their resume.
Absolutely. And in the VFW, this is not the VFW that may be known as the stereotypical place where people go to just hang out and smoke cigarettes and drink at a bar. We are a newer generation of veterans. We've bridged between the greatest generation from World War II and the unfortunately much maligned Vietnam vets. Now we're seeing a lot of veterans in town between the war on terrorism, Iraq, Afghanistan. I just recently returned from deployment in theater with my National Guard unit, for which I'm still active. We also focus on scholarship efforts. We have upcoming scholarships programs at Lurgio, McKelvey, and the high school. We do an award for Teacher of the Year, First Responder of the Year, and then we award scholarships to our college-bound and attending students.
And to fund those, you have a couple of fundraisers annually.
We do. Thank you. Yes, we have our.
People know where they can help you out.
We have our Poppy Drive that we hold on both Memorial and Veterans Day. Unfortunately, we still haven't pinned down our location for the Poppy Day Festival or fundraiser for Veterans Day. We have our upcoming Ham and Bean Supper at the Old Town Hall on Saturday, September 30th at 4:30, and all are welcome. I think it's important to say that the veterans here in Bedford are luckily a fairly well-off group, and on an individual basis, we're fortunate that we're, for the most part, economically well-off, that we don't need a lot of the direct services. But I think it's important that any veteran get involved, because politically it is a matter of sheer numbers, that when organizations like the Legion, the VFW, go down to talk to our politicians in Washington, that they have strength in numbers and say, we represent a lot of people.
How do people join both organizations? Because the qualifications are a little different for each organization. Why don't you explain that and how people can join you?
Well, for the veterans of foreign wars, you have to have served in a designated campaign. Again, something like World War II, Korea, Vietnam. I first became eligible with the Operation Just Cause in Panama. Been involved in the War on Terror. There's a whole list that can be accessed online. And for the Legion,
for the Legion is for the Legion is a time of service that starts obviously early in the 1950s, and then there's a break there. And then it obviously picks up again in the 20th century as well, service. So if you go into our website, the AmericanLegion.com website, you'll be able to get all the specifics on those dates there to be able to become members.
I'd like to interject some stuff just for a second here. One of the things, and again, gentlemen, thank you for your service, is what we are trying to do with BCTV, certainly in promoting organizations and as well as WBNH Radio, is to promote the organizations, but at the same time, when we have Veterans Show that put the focus on veterans, whether they're in theater, in country, or in whatever capacity. And I'm using you gentlemen sitting here, and as a veteran myself, we produce a program called Veterans Forum. And basically there's a program with the Library of Congress where they're trying to archive the stories of all veterans, regardless of how you served, but for something that people can maybe reference. Bob Stevens, who's a 93-year-old young guy that we have, and you may or may not know about him, who served in the Pacific Campaign, is as articulate, is as sharp as he can be. And I'm using this as an opportunity to, if you can encourage anybody that would like to come in and just tell their story. It doesn't have to be a frontline guy. It doesn't have to be that you were, you know, served 2 tours. It's nothing other than you served. And what made you serve, or how did you serve? In my days, the best thing that happened to me, I got drafted. I ended up as an officer. I was in during the Vietnam era, headed to Vietnam. Thank God Henry Kissinger had the peace accord signed, and I was headed to Fubai. So I was one of those lucky ones. But I did 10 years of reserve with an MI company, and it helped me get my job with IBM. I was going to be, and I just tell the story as part of my story that I had with him, because your stories can be something that, first of all, it's your legacy that your grandkids can look at, but also can give some guidance to, you know, some young people that aren't quite sure what they may want to do. And so, gentlemen, I extend that invitation. If you could promote through the Legion, through Post 54, and certainly through the VFW, and we've had some of your members in, that it's really painless. It's just a conversation. It's where did you start? Who are you? It's just not about your service time, it's about you. So I'm encouraging anybody, again, we have a show, just talking with Bob, we've had several Medal of Honor recipients. Don't ever refer to a Medal of Honor as a winner. It's a recipient. That's just my military background. So nobody wins those. So we've had that opportunity, and we'll be having one in December 8th, who'll be talking about his story. All Medal of Honor recipients will tell you they're no different than any veteran sitting here or any which way. You put yourself in harm's way when you become a member of the military. But gentlemen, your organizations are doing some fantastic things, supporting the veterans that are already there. We'd like to try to get their story out if they feel comfortable. So if you could do that when you go back for your post meetings, we certainly would appreciate it.
I'd like to add the VFW meets the second Monday of every month at the Old Town Hall at 7:30 p.m.
You know somebody that's in that thing.
I know someone that does that.
Andy Boley. That's Andy's daughter.
Okay. All right. Well, again, I can't emphasize enough, it's important to be counted, strength in numbers. And as our veterans are aging, our membership unfortunately dwindles. So I would just ask any veteran, you know, make yourself counted, because there are things happening in Washington, D.C. that do work in our favor.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you again for your service.
Thank you.
All right, we're about to wrap it up, but I'm going to do something, and I'm going to make sure he gets his time on here. Chris, zero us all up here. You know, just frame us all, because I want you to get out here. Come on out here, because I want you folks, before we sign off,
You can see who was behind the scenes.
Yeah, and by the way, as we're sitting under this very comfortable, we got Dave Danielson coming in, but he usually comes in just as we're signing off, which we are about to do, but we'll bring him in. Dave Danielson is also one of our state reps. Chris, why don't you come on in and see if we can, I'm going to put Chris over here.
Okay, fine, yeah.
Yeah. But hang on for a second. So the person that's been behind the camera, managing the live feed, it looks a little hot.
I'm in the sun. You guys are in the shade.
Yeah, that's correct. This is Chris Gentry. Chris has been with us for 6 months, but has about 12, 13, 14 years of local media.
14, 15 years.
Yeah, 14, 15 years of local media experience, starting out with Plymouth and then going to Merrimack. He did a lot of stuff for us on a volunteer, and then we also had him as a consultant. Concord TV, and just recently joined us back April 1. We were working on getting him well over a year, and we saw him we actually saw him grow up, literally. He was young, in early 20s now. We can't really say what your age is right now, so yeah, you can.
We're in the 30s.
Yes, we're in the 30s right now.
Still a young age.
Yeah, you probably heard at the beginning, if you stayed that long with us, or if you didn't, we are sending out our broadcast not only through the traditional channels, but now if you're out and about, you can watch us. I was just watching the feed on our phone. computer that's here. You can be home at your channel. You can be anywhere. It's like when we did the football game last weekend from
Winnicott, out in Hampton. That was a lot of fun.
So we're going live because we have the equipment and we're distributing the content many different ways. And you're the guy. I mean, tell us what you see. I mean, you're in that generation that says this is what we need to do.
Well, we're just trying to get more out there. So using the streaming resources that we have, we're also posting more up to YouTube, working with the police and fire department to do their YouTube pages as well, stuff that they produce through us. And actually, they've been pretty good about starting to produce their own stuff and throwing it up on there. Now we just got to get them to tell us about it first.
Yeah, there you go.
But I still will pull down some of their PSAs and stuff that they are creating, and I'll send them to Colleen to get them up on the bulletin board or whatnot. But it's just trying to get the information out, and you need to use a wide variety of resources. So we're using the Facebook, we're using the YouTube channel, and we're also using our own website. So you go to bedfordtv.com and you can actually go to our watch live page for where you probably are right now. If you are watching on your phone, or if you're watching on a computer, or if you're using a smart TV, you can actually use a smart TV and be able to watch it on there too. So it gives you more opportunities, and the really cool part about this is being able to see where people are watching from.
They probably can't see that.
No, because I'm not behind the camera.
I know, but I'm just showing that you are in front of the camera right now. That's how you can watch it as well. We're streaming.
Yes. It gives us a wider resource to, especially folks that don't have the opportunity to get out. You and I have had this conversation before with the streaming the Winnicott game and talking to the folks up there.
Last Friday night, Hampton in the stands, one little piece of equipment, broadcasting all the way back here to Bedford.
And streaming live online. And we had folks from Hampton that were actually watching it, as well as the folks from Bedford. Which, that's kind of the point.
Around the country.
They were around the country. In fact, they were outside of the country as well. We had a couple from bases out in the Middle East that were watching.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And we usually, what we end up doing to do this, because we take a very proactive, the football games, sporting events are pretty popular. So, but it doesn't make any difference. We've done it sometimes for some of the meetings that of interest that are outside of the traditional where we broadcast, whether it be in front of town meeting, etc. But we send out those links and we send it out to as many people as we can. We post it on Facebook, and you are the Facebook person.
So if you haven't liked our pages, like us. There's all kinds of pages in town. The Recreation Department, the Town of Bedford, the Fire Department, Police, Library, BCTV, WBNH. We have lots of pages out there for you to like.
In between both of you guys being so involved in the social media and content and distributing in an environment that we are catching up to, in fact, we're really into it, you will create, because I know sometimes you're doing it primarily, I'll do it every once in a while.
We cross.
Yeah, we basically, what Colleen will do is I'll send out the links to the AD, the principal, the superintendents, the town manager, and we get people that are just clicking on it all over the world. You'll actually take this stuff, I know Harry does it for WBNH radio, and we'll hook a link that you can just touch, and you can listen to it on BNH.
And watch it on BCTV live. There's so many ways that you can get the information.
Yes.
Well, and let me say this. Like the football games we've been doing is we've been starting to post them on our YouTube page as well as our streaming page, which you can get on bedfordtv.com. But we can also get on YouTube. Is when you subscribe, ring the little bell right to the right-hand side of the subscribe button, and then you'll be able to get updates as it's happening. So whenever we upload something, you'll get an email according to however you decide you want it. You can get an email that says that we have just posted whatever it is, and it'll have the link directly to it, so you don't even have to really check the page necessarily. You can just get an email and just go right to that page, and once again, hit the subscribe button right next to subscribe, ring that bell.
So we're about a month old with our YouTube channel, correct? Police is about 3 or 4 months, and fire is is relatively. We are going to continue to market and get the word out. One thing I liked about YouTube channels is that if I'm searching on a particular sport, let's say it's Exeter High School football, I might see, another option I have is Bedford High School football. Is that correct?
Well, and the great part about that is that's how YouTube works. So it has suggested on the right-hand side, if you're watching on your computer, it's just underneath the video if you're watching on your phone. It actually gives you suggestions for whichever else might be related to that or may have similar keywords or whatnot. Can get into that a little bit more deeper, but I'm not going to do it here.
Good.
But basically what that does is it also gives us an opportunity that if somebody watches, say, an Exeter game or they're watching another game from Winnicott, they will sometimes pop up on the right-hand side there with our stuff. So then they can go from that game to watch a Bulldogs game, which is awesome. Or in the case of when we had the CO detectors, we also had the fire extinguisher PSAs,
which starred our lovely Colleen Richardson
right there, and
the fire inspector, Thatcher.
Oh, Thatcher Plant.
With Thatcher, yep. Well, the interesting part about that is we had more people that were picking it up through recommendations on that side than necessarily shared organically in certain cases.
He's getting heavy with some of that tech talk right now, but I think
we
the bottom line is just talk about
we're awesome. That's the bottom line.
The CO2. No, it's a fire extinguisher one, not the extinguisher, but the smoke detectors.
Yes.
With great pride, you and Thatcher hold the record, over 8,000 views on that particular.
No, it's 7,000
up there.
Yeah. So, but anyways, sitting beside you is Dave Danielson, and David goes way back. First of all, he's currently on the WBNH radio board, but he goes way back with me back to 99, 2000 on the BCTV board, and 2001, 2002. And I still remember David saying something to the effect, and he was been on the BCTV boards. You've seen a lot of changes. I know you even said way back when with the Marconi Museum, which is now the Stephen Buswell, they're trying to, make that a community center. Said, gee, maybe someday we could have a radio station here. God knows, 15 years later we have it. Dave, you've seen a lot of changes since you've been here.
Right. I think some of the things that you talked about are generational things, like some of the things that my generation, for example, wouldn't even be thinking about because we still read newspapers and magazines. To have the types of media that's available today to get messages out, probably to the point where there's so much information out today, it's very difficult to determine which information is most beneficial to you.
Or if you do have that information, it's got to be 3 minutes to grab somebody's attention, and then that gets it all out.
Right.
That's what
Right.
And it's a competition.
And then I think the retention of that information, because there is so much of it coming through, to try to remember what night's the game, what game do I really want to watch. And it's nice that you can go back and get it at another time, but there's just so much today, and so much availability. And BCTV and BCNH have made it so much more available that folks can listen into different subject matter. I think the fact that the radio station itself is focusing on safety, I think, is a big thing. I mean, we've seen just recently, and unfortunately, we've seen Texas, in Puerto Rico, and in Florida, we've seen instances where having that kind of information available on a consistent basis, a constant basis, people get reminded about, make sure you have water, make sure you have food availability. You have somebody constantly telling you have officers, first responders saying, these are the things that are necessary for you to survive. That's good stuff. And I think that's BCNH's... WBNH, thank you. WBNH's first responsibility.
105.1 FM, that's 105.1 FM on your dial.
But I think some of the things that the television station puts out too, in its different modes, is also valuable to people. So going back to answer your question, which I'm very good at just rattling on, but to answer your question...
I got you beat.
But we started, when we started out, we did say that exactly. Would it be good if we could have radio? And what we were thinking of that back then, Bill, was the kids being on radio. If they could come in and let us know what they were thinking.
Yep.
But you've done both television
And let's
station
not
and radio
forget Harry. Harry couldn't be here. Harry Kozlowski on the radio side as our program director has done some amazing things, and he's got about 7 or 8 volunteer producers. In the radio, I don't mean to interrupt you, so folks understand, if you want to get a program on the air with BCTV, you can be a little more casual. We expect you to be professional, but we're not holding you to any specific number. If you want to do something in radio, because it's FCC controlled, it is owned by the town, we hold you to a higher level of quality, meaning, and Harry I know wants to have at least 40 programs out of his producers, because that's asking for the full-time commitment.
Right.
But we do have some student programs, but they're managed out of the BHS club, as well as Harry working with them as well.
And I have the opportunity, of course, through the long view of trying to get some subjects on television that on our television station that address things out in the future. And sometimes they're not so far out in the future, but in today. I'm talking to some folks right now about maybe looking at some of the arts things that are going around in our community and nearby community. Learning about some of our, for example, the New Hampshire Institute of Art.
Yep.
Would like to come over and let people know about what they've got. 600 students.
And you and I know you've been working with the museum in Manchester to get some exclusive stuff in there, and Chris, you're going to be working on that, and with me and maybe Colleen as well.
The Courier would also like to talk to us.
That's great.
So it's there's a lot of good things that we can do, and it's your inspiration and Colleen and the things that you've been able to hold us together and make sure that we move forward despite our emotionalism, which
We're happy to have you on, Dave. You're a great volunteer. You wear many hats in town, and we're lucky that you're part of BCTV and WBNH.
What I would like to add for this particular gentleman here right now is that he and I go way back, and he was a supporter we don't get anything, we don't have what we have today without the support of our local town government. And we are probably considered the best station in New Hampshire, if not all the entire Northeast. I like to say the country, but that's probably pushing it. But my bias is showing. But we got the support from you and Dick Stoner and Ed Moran in particular, because you all said we need something like this. And who would have thought that it would expand to the level that it has? And the councils that have followed you and the town management have seen how this thing has grown, that now we need this to get, as you said, the information out there any which way we can, because we're competing all the time with what people have.
And folks should know that it's interactive and you guys are available.
Yes.
If they want to get on air, if they want to get on television, they can do it. All they've got to do is contact you, and you'd be glad to help them.
Yep.
That's right. Our website is bedfordtv.com. Our phone number is 603-472-8288. Feel free to contact us, and we are here to help the residents of Bedford.
Yeah, and we have a lot of fun. As I said, Colleen's assistant manager, production coordinator. Colleen manages about 7 or 8, what do we have to 7 right now, part-time employees that take care of our government and school board meetings, all going live, streaming, etc. It's because of the support that we get. No tax dollars, folks. We are strictly financed through cable access fees. So for all you people that are out there that have Comcast, thank you, that's supporting us. But even Comcast doesn't mind us. Certainly we distribute over the airwaves through streaming. So if you don't have, you're not subscribed to Comcast, catch us on our streaming website, as Colleen said, bedfordtv.com. And WBNH Radio is?
wbnh.bedfordnh.org. And you can get through all of the departments for the town through bedfordnh.org.
Yeah,
so
we know you're not.
Us that way
yeah,
as well.
we know you're not writing those down. We're gonna wrap this up right now. One thing I do want to just mention: Dave Danderson is also one of our state reps. And how do people get a hold of their state reps if they want to chat?
There's a couple of ways they can get a hold of them. If you go on nh.gov, tap the legislative button. Go over and it'll say, who's my legislator? Tap that. Go down and it'll say locality. Tap Bedford. It'll give you the names of the 6 reps. It'll give you their cell phone, not their cell phone numbers. It'll give you their email addresses, and you can contact them through that way.
No pun intended, but I'm kind of tapped out with all that tap. So how can they get a hold of you as one of our NH reps?
As far as
Bedford reps.
Yeah, as far as getting a hold of me, my email address is bedrep7, BEDREP7 @gmail.com.
That's pretty good. That's really net right there.
Right.
How'd you get Bed?
That's good question. BedRep7 stands for Bedford Representative 7th District, because we're the 7th District in Hillsborough County. And so that's how I use.
So that's excellent. BedRep7. But Dave Daniels, right?
So we've had a lot of guests on today.
Ooh, yeah.
We've had a lot of interviews, a lot of great information. Hope people have enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're going to let Chris get up. So, he's going to.
He's going to do
I can do it right here.
So he can remotely send us up there. We want to thank Dave Danielson for helping us close out the show right now.
Thanks,
want to certainly thank Town Manager Rick Sawyer for kicking it off for us. This is the first time we've done something like this. It's been great. Colleen did all the organization. Chris did all the setup and the hardware, and all I did was sit down and they said, "You're on." Can't work without these guys. We have a great team down there. We have a great group of volunteers. Thank you for all the people that took the time to come to our BCTV WBNH radio booth, TV booth as well. Look us up.
We see you this year. We hope to see you next year.
Yeah, I would say this worked out pretty well. Let's keep doing this thing. If you want to get on next year at Old Town Days, look us up. We'll be here, streaming live on BedfordTV.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you at whatever event we might be covering if you're interested in it. But we'll definitely see you here next year, I should say, at Old Town Days.